Hello everyone, finally I have brought the most requested tutorial, which is how to draft a cupped corset with yoke. I believe by now that everyone has seen the tutorial on how to craft this cup according to their sizes on my YouTube channel. Please, if you haven't seen it, kindly go and watch it now. The link to my YouTube channel is in my bio. I'll start by placing my already crafted cup on my folded paper, and I'll measure half of an inch on my folded paper. That will serve as the bust bridge. This is the space in between two cups. Now the next thing I'll be doing is to place the cup on that half inch, as you can see me do here, and I'll go in with probably a piece of fabric or so just to keep the cup in shape. Please, you want to make sure to have crafted your cup perfectly, because this will determine how perfect your corset is going to come out. Kindly go to my YouTube channel to watch the video on how to do this if you are yet to see it. So the next thing I'll be doing is to go in with my paper tape to hold the cup down, just so it doesn't start moving around when I'm taking my measurements. Please kindly pay attention at this point. So the next thing I'll be doing is to place my tape and take my underbust measurement from the down part of the cup, as you can see me do here. So the underbust I'm working with here is 14, so I'll measure from that 14 to the starting point of the tape. That will serve as my shoulder line or my starting line. I hope you understand what I tried to explain here. The next thing I'll be doing is to go to the underbust area and rule a line there. That will serve as my underbust. It is that simple. Just pay attention to this video. The underbust line is what will serve as our guide for this pattern, since we already have the down part of our cup here, which is our underbust, so it is going to guide us all through. The next thing I'll be doing is to place my tape on that underbust line and take my half length line from there. Please don't just start your measurement from the beginning of the tape. Make sure it stays on that cup for you to get it right. So I'll take my half length measurement, and lastly I'll be taking my hip line measurement from the half length line. I'll be taking my hip line measurement, and the reason I am doing this is just so I can shape my corset perfectly. I will not be using that length. I'm not going to be using that full length. You know, corset has to be a bit shorter than the regular top, but for it to serve as a guide, I will be going in with my hip line measurement first, just to get a perfect shape for the hem of my corset. What I'll be doing next now is from that underbust, I'll be taking my actual corset length. I'll be taking my actual corset length and I'll rule the line there. And for those that may want to ask, the half length I used for this pattern is 17 inches. Underbust is 14 inches and the half length is 17 inches, while the corset length is 22 inches. I have gone ahead to label the lines now: the shoulder line, the underbust, the half length, the corset length, and the hip line. As I mentioned earlier, I will explain why I marked the hip line as we proceed. The next thing I'll be doing is to go to my corset again, and on that point where you can see at the end of that corset there, I'm just going to rule a line. That is automatically our chest line. It is that simple. That is where we will be having our armhole. And now it's time to go in with our body measurement. I'll start with the bust. To take the bust measurement, you are going to place your tape on the center front at the beginning of the folded paper, as you can see me do here, and mark it across the cup. And whatever you have there, you are going to be adding 1.5 or 2 inches, depending on how big the person you are working with is. You will get this right if only you take your corset measurement accurately and you have crafted your cup perfectly. The video is on my YouTube channel. The next thing I want to do now is to go in with the waist measurement. I'll be using 7 inches for this tutorial. The actual waist measurement is 30, which is 7.5 when you divide by 4, but I want to snatch just 2 inches from the waist. And now on the hip line, I will be taking my hip circumference measurement there, which is 40. That's 10 when we divide by 4. I'll be taking my hip circumference measurement there, and I'll connect from the waistline to the hip line. I'll go in with my ruler now to connect them. Although we'll no longer be needing the down part, we only need our actual corset length. That was why I said I will be marking the hip line, just so we can determine the shape of our corset perfectly. The next thing I'll be doing is to connect from the chest line to the waistline, as you can see me doing in this video, and that is just it. I'll go ahead and cross lines on the part that I will no longer be needing, which is from the corset line to the hip line. I'll no longer be needing that part because I already have the actual corset length that I want to work with. Next thing I will do now is to go to my shoulder line and take the shoulder measurement, and I will also take my shoulder measurement on the chest line. This is just for me to be able to get a straight line. So the next thing I'll be doing is I will go to the neckline. I will mark the neckline I want to work with for this tutorial. I'm working with 3 by 3 inches. You can do any neckline of your choice. For my shoulder slant, I'll be using 1 inch for the shoulder slant, and I'll go ahead and connect it to the neckline, as you can see me doing this video. Just like we do the usual armhole curve, I'll mark the midpoint of the armhole, and I'll go in by half of an inch there. And before I finish the armhole curve, I'll quickly go to that chest line and come down by probably 0.5 inch, 0.75 inch. I did 0.75 inch here. This is for your corset, for your cup to sit properly when you attach the yoke to it. So that was why I came down by 0.75 inch, and I'll just blend it up with my curve now and complete the shape of the armhole. I just connected it to the chest line. I didn't connect it to the 0.75 that I came down with. I'll go ahead and cut it out now, just so we can cut the back bodice. So now to cut the back bodice, I'll just place this front bodice on the back. I'll be using a tracing wheel to just trace this out on the back bodice, but I like to do something. I like my back bodice to be a bit higher than the front bodice. Note that this is totally optional. You can choose to ignore this part, but I just want the yoke of the back bodice to be a bit higher than that of the front. So that was why I left about 1 inch or 1.5 inches at the top of the back bodice. So now I'll go in with my tracing wheel now and trace it out. Please kindly ignore this part if you find it confusing. It is totally optional. You can just use the same length for the front and the back, please. So now I'll go ahead and trace them out and use my marker to mark those lines so that we can all see them. And before I proceed, I would like to tell you that I'll be having an online class next month on corset and every other style. So please kindly let me know if you are interested in this class. It is going to start next month, so you can reach out to me via the DM and I'll tell you the necessary things that you need to know. Okay, so remember I said the other time that I want to raise the back bodice up by about 1 inch or 1.5 inches. That is what I am doing right now. You know, I had the initial shoulder line that I traced out from the front bodice there, so I'm just extending that line that I already traced out by 1.5 inches. You can do 1 inch and you can choose to just leave it the way it is. You can use the same length just like the front bodice. There is no big deal in this. So now I'll go ahead and mark that line out now, and the next thing I'll be doing is to mark out the neckline. For the neckline, I'll be doing 3 inches by 1.5 inches, and now I'll go to the armhole to mark that out using my marker. Now I already traced that out the other time using the front body, so that's just it. And for the back, remember the 0.75 inch that I came down by when we were drafting the front bodies, when I said I wanted the cup to sit properly. So I'll just go down by that 0.75 and I'll rule a line there. From that line I came down by 0.5 inch, and we'll be having eyelet on the back. We want a bit of opening there, so I will go in by 1.5 inch, and on the waistline I will go in by 0.5 inch, as you can see me do here. So that is where we'll be having our eyelet, and that's just it for the back bodies. We are through. It is that simple. So I'll just go ahead now and mark out the part where we'll be having our eyelet, and I just made a sign there to indicate that we'll be having eyelet there. Now I'll go ahead and bring back the front bodies now, just so I can shape out our cup, and we're almost done with our corset. I'll shape out the cup following our crafted cup that we already have there. You want to do this carefully and neatly, and you have to make sure that the shape of your cup comes out very well. And now we are done. I'll go ahead and take out the cup now and make those lines more visible using my pencil, and this is what we have. Our corset is looking so beautiful already, and that is just it. I'll go ahead and start cutting it out now. So that is how to draft a dartless corset. You can also use this method to draft a corset with darts. Yes, you can use it. And yes, for the M line, you can choose to do all this trending M line that will have curve down there. Just place your curve and shape out any curve that you want. That totally depends on you, on what you want. But mind you, once you trace that shape out for the front, make sure to place it on the back as well and trace the same shape out. Always make sure that you have the same shape on both front and the back. And that is it. Don't forget that my online class will be coming up next month. You can send me a DM so I can give you the proper details about the class. And that's the end. Yes, that's the end. I'll cut them out now and show you what it looks like. And while we cut, I would like to tell you how to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you are seeing this video, kindly follow this page. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Model Study on YouTube, Model Study on TikTok, Model Study on Instagram. And finally, this is what our corset looks like. It is looking so beautiful. Thank you guys for watching. Bye. I'll see you in my next video.